And we're live. I won this Sam Gamer, and now we return to Civ 5. And I know this is a bit late, but yeah, I'm gonna talk about the December beta versions. Sadly, real life got kind of busy, so I never managed to got to until now. I mean, it was the holidays, which didn't help. So we had two versions, but one of them was so minor that I felt like it didn't deserve a video for itself, and that's the December 1st version. Changes: increase range combat strength for Slinger, Chocanu, and most mounted range units. So for Slingers and Chocanu, since they lost logistics, it doesn't make sense that their range combat strength would be lower than their original counterpart. Before it was like, oh, you could attack twice, so you should start with less range combat strength. So that isn't the case anymore. And most mounted range units, just to give them a slight buff. I mean, it's still like kind of just balancing them. +1 combat strength for Lancer units, because Lancers sadly deserve some love. They're kind of weak by the time they come out. They're not the strongest. Their survivability isn't that high. They just don't dominate. And then finally, rough terrain penalty has been removed for mounted range units. And to be honest, I welcome that, because I felt like it wasn't that good. It wasn't fixing the problems. Now it's just they get this skirmisher doctrine, which gives them more combat strength while in open terrain and less in rough terrain, so that even if you can make use of rough terrain, your damage will be significantly lower. So that's definitely a welcome change. And yeah, that's it for December 1st version. I mean, yeah, there's been some fixes, but I don't know enough to talk about those. Now, the December 20th version, that's the major one. Based on what I've seen, there's still bugs. Like, I haven't played it. I haven't had time. I barely had time to make this video, so yeah, December 20th version still has bugs in it, at least at the time of this recording. But I mean, to be fair, it's introducing a lot of things, so that's kind of expected. So, first, ideology has went through some pretty major changes, and for good reasons, because ideology has been, I mean, to be fair, there are some tenets that you always pick and some tenets you never pick. So the hope here is to make some of them more relevant, nerf some of them that are just overpowered, because there are some that are just completely overpowered. So what do we have? First, freedom. Oh yeah, this is a big one because I actually took part. So did they not change the wording? So space procurements. Procurements. Yeah, I think it's procurements. And what was strong about it is, before freedom, they get this tenet. They will have a lot of gold generation at this point, so they could just buy their spaceship parts outright, which will allow them to win science victory very easily. Meanwhile, Order doesn't have something like that, because great engineers are very weak late game. So now, when you spend gold, it's an investment, right? It's kind of like, I'm assuming it's like a building, or is it a wonder? I just don't know what's the numbers. If it's 25% or 50%, hopefully 25%. So they will still have to build it. This will make it a bit more balanced, as opposed to just being absolutely broken. I mean, before, the ability to buy it is so powerful. And now urbanization, instead of 2 food, now it's +4 food, which could be pretty nice if you, I mean, food is not as strong late game. I mean, yes, you do want to work more specialists, but I don't know, the timing of this I mean, it kind of depends on the map and depends on your strategy, right? Because if you have extra food, and let's say, I mean, recently I played quite a bit of Celts. So if you get extra food and you can grow a bit more, you could give your capital more yields. Because let's say if you know, with the Celts, you went and got Dagda, which gives you yields for every 3 followers. If you get more food, then you might be able to grow your city a bit more, make your capital a bit stronger, and then that could pay off because you're getting food for this, but in return you're getting science, culture, gold, and production in your capital, only making it that much more powerful. So that's freedom. Order went through the most changes because most people agree that order is probably the weakest, or at least in like it definitely needs more attention than the other ideologies. So first, Spaceship Pioneers, which is what this had. So this is still weak in my opinion. Like great engineers. Okay, so this is strong. Gain a free great engineer and great scientist. Oh, I mean gain a great scientist. Very good. Expanding great person grant 100 science scaling with era. Solid. Free great engineer and hurrying production with great engineer now 50% more effective. I don't know. I mean, you might be able to get 2,000. I mean, spaceship parts still cost quite a bit, so I mean, I guess in a way they're on par with freedom spending gold, so I guess that's fine. Yeah, I guess it's fine. It shouldn't be too powerful, but that boost should be 50%. I remember one of my recent games I got what 1,700. So 50% of that is like 850. So it'll be 2,500. That'll be what 2,500. I don't remember how much production is the spaceship parts. 2,500 spaceship parts. 25. Wow, the math is kind of ugly. So it's between 20 and 25%. It's a reasonable amount. Let's just put it that way. Yeah, yeah, I think that's fine. I mean, I still wouldn't rely on great engineers. Really, the science you get for expanding great people is probably much more valuable, and that great scientist because it could get you one technology. And then peace, land, and bread. Oh yeah, that is a big one. Peace, land, and bread. Before poverty reduced by 20% and growth increased by 20% in all cities. I mean, it's okay. I mean, you get some poverty, but you might not feel it as much because normally when you go order, you're wide, you're not growing your cities as much, so it's not felt as hard. Normally, I find it's the stress and boredom late game. But now there's a huge addition, minus 20% building maintenance modifier. So in the past, I can't recall anything that reduces building maintenance. So this is huge. Like this is going to give you a lot of income back, and you can use that income. I mean, let's face it, late game gold isn't the most common. Like when you go wide, it's not always the easiest because since you have so many cities, having a high income is harder. So this will help drastically. Workers' faculties. So you get 5 free factories immediately. What if you don't have coal? Isn't that... I mean, I guess this is assuming that you have the coal. Because you get 5 free factories immediately. And then you can build all other factories faster. and they boost science output. I mean, if you had the code, this is not bad because you might have built factories in some of your main cities, and then there are some secondary cities that will benefit, but you don't have time to build it. Now you get them for free, assuming you have the code, and you get a slight science output. I'm not sure. This is okay. I mean, if you don't have code, then it's gonna increase your maintenance, and with peace land bread, now it's not as big of a problem because of the reduction. And plus, if you go for like industries, was it industry? Yeah, factories actually generates plus 3% gold, so you might actually go net positive. Yeah, I really like the peace land and bread. The pioneers, space flight pioneers, it's okay. I still wouldn't see great engineers being a huge factor, but that just might be me. Next, 5-year plan. So plus 20% towards buildings in all cities. The problem is you might not build a lot of buildings at this point, so it's not as strong. But the +3 production as opposed to 1 could be big, because since you're going wider, you might not be working as many specialists. So if you have more production in those capital, because it's going to be more worth it, it could pay off. I mean, production is pretty important later on. People's Army. Wow, these are all major buffs. Yeah, I haven't had time to look at all of these. People's Army plus basically build military academies in half the time. You get 5 free military academies in your empire. Normally when this becomes available, you might have it already, but I guess it depends if you're warring or not. Because if you're going along the top of the tech tree, so for example, in the industrial era, you might be going for scientific theory for public schools, archaeology for archaeologists, museums. I mean, museum is pretty solid. You know, to get antiquity sites, maybe you went artistry and want the Louvre. The Neuschwanstein, which I'm probably butchering, is actually not bad either. And train stations, railroads, another trade route. These are solid. Maybe you're going along the top and you're not going to military theory, so you don't have military academies. So that is probably one reason why you don't have it. So I could definitely see the situation. And now public school, instead of 3 culture and 1 happiness, now it's 5 culture and 2 happiness. That's huge. 5 culture is a fair bit. I mean, you're definitely going public schools because when you're going order, you're most likely going for science victory, and you'll probably go for public schools. So now you have a building that produces quite a bit of culture, quite a bit of science. Yeah, it could definitely pay for itself. So this is huge. It's mostly the yields. The free academies, not as much. I mean, if you're warring, yeah, it's nice. But if you're warring, you probably have those built already. You're not gonna wait for this. And then Academy of Sciences. Academy of Sciences. Wow, it's just, they are just granting free. So 5 free research labs, that's new. And also research labs generate additional science. Whoa, that is a pretty big buff. Research lab. Like, what could make this powerful is if you are able to get, if I remember where it is, Great Firewall. Because now you have +5 from the Tenet, +10 from the Wonder. That's plus 15 to all of your every single research lab. That is not to be underestimated. Plus 15. Yeah, these are buffs that will make order. I mean, I've used order, but I will admit order is not that strong. I mean, the ones I really like, or the ones I actually is that. Okay, one more, and then I'll discuss what I liked about the old order and what I almost never go for. Cultural Revolution, +5 tourism from all great works. That's the addition. I mean, the first one, like your biggest problem is freedom civs, right? They're your biggest challenge, not other order. I mean, maybe other order, but AI normally, at least for the maps I play with, and plus freedom, I find it's in a better position for cultural victory. So this one +5 tourism from all great works. It's not bad. I mean, I don't know how many great works you get if you go wide, and I guess if you go artistry, progress, artistry, industry, and you fight some wars, you get some great works. It's a nice to have. I mean, if religion wise you get the one that allows you to purchase great people, yeah, you are going to benefit from this quite a bit. So, in the past, Academy of Science, it kind of depends. If I have a lot of unhappiness from illiteracy, I might go for this. But it's not as big. Communism, I might take it because the extra production for wonders is really nice. Because the sooner I build the wonders, the sooner I could shift my capital to building other things that I might need. I almost never get this because stealing technology is a nightmare in late game. Like, it seems to take way too long. And like I said, my biggest problem is usually other freedom civs. I mean, if the biggest, the leader is order, yeah, it can help, but that civ will probably also generate a lot of culture. This one, I don't find that useful. At least on the difficulty I play at, the AI usually has pretty good happiness. Double agent is pretty nice. The extra spies allow you to like defend your cities, steal great works, those sort of things. Like usually I steal great works, not steal technology late game. So double agents is pretty solid. 5-year plan, sometimes I go for it if I have a lot of buildings I need to get. I mean, I would probably definitely go for it now that you have like research labs getting quite a bit of science. I mean, public schools is already the case. I mean, I'll see. Like, it is kind of late. It's a level 2. If it's a level 1, it definitely still has quite a bit of value. Level 2, greatly forward, 2 free technology, always solid. Something you have to time it well, but it's 2 free technologies. Like, you can use it to do pretty incredible things. Guerrilla warfare, I use it sometimes. Guerrilla fighters aren't that bad. They can heal quite a bit. And mostly you get more experience when you're fighting friendly territory. And usually when you fight wars, you start in your own territory. So you get more experience. So it's kind of like autocracy when you're initially defending. And that can give your units like artillery a lot more experience, allowing them to get those valuable extra range and logistics to make them devastating. Here other people definitely get it. I mean, a great person of your choice, awesome. More great person rates, solid. Iron Curtain, I feel like it's a must because you will work internal trade routes and you definitely want the extra production, right, from your internal trade routes. And plus you get +5 gold and +5 production. I know it doesn't seem like much late game, But it starts adding up, especially in your capital when you start adding in all the modifiers, and then you add the internal trade routes. I guess if you're expanding the free courthouses, pretty nice. Nationalization, probably the must take, because your internal trade routes allow you to, yeah, just maximize your gains, especially if you're warring and you don't have any targets to trade with. This is the one to go, and you get +2 signs for offices. Party leadership, I would take it. I know the yields don't seem like much, but like I said, they add up. And I mean, chances are you're already wide, so it will pay off. I never took this before. Now I might consider it if I have some gold issues. But if you go industry and you get train stations, normally you're pretty good, but I think this is going to give you a lot of income now. People's Army. I mean, if I need some happiness, yeah, the public school would be nice. Now it gives even more happiness than 5 culture. Like, now it's like much higher. Resettlement, I mean, extra population could be nice if you have the happiness. I guess now that you get more happiness from public schools, you could probably go for it. I mean, if you have a certain like religion beliefs that scale with population, this is pretty solid. Wait, what? Was this changed? I thought it was +1 citizen. Spaceship Pioneers. Before I went for it to, I mean, I would still go for the great scientist and great person grants science scaling with arrow. Like, it's a lot of science if you do things correctly. Workers, faculty, I don't always go for it now. We'll see. It's more situational. So that's it for ideology. Now, Germany had a slight change because people were like, oh, Germany feels quite a bit weak. So now they have +3 culture and golden age points in capital for each city-state ally, and +3 science and golden age points per friend, scaling with era. Just give them a slight buff. I mean, the Panzer. I mean, tanks got slightly buffed, so now they have armor plating too. They're overall fairly solid. I mean, I haven't played Germany for a while, so I don't know. I can't tell you what I think about this. And apparently Lancer got another +1 combat strength. So they got +1 in the December 1st patch, and now they get another one. I guess they're still kind of weak. I'm not surprised. Lancer needs some work because the issue is they come near the end of Renaissance era, where they could face off against Fusiliers who have bonuses against them and who are definitely quite solid. And then once you get Gatling guns, yeah, Lancers aren't gonna do very well. Yeah, I feel bad for Lancers. They're just at an awkward moment where they're not as useful. I feel like if Lancers were available in the first column of Renaissance era, they might, like, if they're available at Gunpowder, that's where they might be able to shine a bit more. But then they will actually destroy. Yeah, no. Yeah, I feel Lancer is kind of hard to balance regarding where they show up. Yeah, I don't have any good ideas. And then, let's see, buildings. So, power plants. The big thing, now they no longer have terrain restrictions, which is good, because before it's like, okay, depending on your start, you might only be able to build one or the other, which is not fair. You should have the choice. I like that change. And right now, the wind, if I could find these, I don't use power plants that much because I normally don't have time to make use of them. And of course, right now I'm also having the issue of unable to find them. Okay, we have solar plant. Oh, all of them are available at alternative energy. Oh, that's why. Okay, so hydroelectric power. So basically, you can only get one of these. Hydroelectric power, river, lakes, ocean, river. Okay, so all of them. Oh wait, no. They. So hydroelectric and wind requires iron. Nuclear needs uranium. Solar power requires aluminum. There's a lot of iron, so you should have these no problem. These two are a bit more. So this one plus 5% production, plus 15% production. River plus 2 production, plus 2 food, plus 2 science. Lake plus 2. Why did they switch it around? It's basically all of those plus 2 production, plus 2 food, and plus 2 science. I got thrown off for a moment. Yeah, all water and river tiles. Wait. It says all water, but I only see river, lakes, ocean, but I don't see coast. So, I'm assuming coast is one of them? I mean, it doesn't show. Yeah, lakes, sea. I don't know if that includes the coast. I'm assuming it does. And then solar power requires aluminum. So it has smaller percentages. All city processes are 15% more efficient at converting production into yields. So what this means is, for example, early on, if you get pottery, you can convert production to farming, and I think it's 25%. So with this, you'll get 40%. Don't quote me on the numbers. I don't quite remember, but like you're able to work production, culture, science, gold. So this makes it more efficient. Actually, this could be huge because there's a good chance that late game this is what you're working at, right? This is what most of your cities are trying to get science or culture, so you could get a policy or tech faster. So this is actually pretty solid. So for 1 aluminum, I think it's worth it. But chances are you will only build it in. Will you build it in your capital? It kind of depends. I mean, your capital has the most production, but your capital might also be building wonders. Then it's not as effective. Maybe your second, third, fourth most productive cities. Yeah, I can see that. Nuclear power. Uranium specialists produce +2 of their base yields and generate great people 25% faster. That's like definitely what you want for a tall empire, like in the capital. Because, I mean, you could produce whatever you want, and this just gives you quite a bit of yields if you're working a lot of specialist slots and you're able to get more great people. I mean, if you go freedom, you have. If you go freedom, I think it's this one. Yeah, 33% here. I mean, you start adding up the extra great people, right? You go tradition, you go artistry, and then you might go for, like, you get Leaning Tower Pisa. Suddenly you have quite a bit of great people generation. An extra great person could actually make a huge difference. Okay, for uranium, I think that's worth it. Wind power. Okay, +2 production, science, and gold on all land tiles except mountains. Makes sense. I mean, oh wait, except mountains? Then isn't that worse for Inca? Huh. And nuclear power, wow, gives you quite a bit more production too. But to be fair, uranium is rarer, so it should be the strongest. Yeah, I feel like except mountains is kind of unfair. Because if you have the Incans and you have like the ideal conditions, are you not going to go for wind power? Because you might be landlocked. Actually, you might go solar power. I don't know. Yeah, except mountains, it's a bit odd. Excluding mountains. I don't know why. Like, I don't think other civs. Wait, they could work mountain tiles suddenly? I don't think so. Yeah, that's something. And then refinery. Refinery now just produces 1 coal and 1 iron, plus 3 production, and it no longer gives 25% production. I guess that's fine. People usually build it for the coal and iron, not for the production. So the production would have been nice. So that's it for the plants. Wonders. Ooh. Brandenburg Gate. Now you get plus 15 experience for units built in all cities. So instead of just this city, every city, all of your units get an additional plus 15. So if you don't go autocracy, you could get a lot of experience, right? You get the 15 from here. You get 15 from here. And then you get, let's see, that's 15. Oh wait, I need buildings. Right, I want to find that here. How much buildings? So let's say maximum. Okay, order 15. So that'll be 30. 30 plus that 45. 45. 65. 65. 80. I don't think this gives 80. Yeah, this doesn't give it. So once you have 80 there, and then no, not that one. I don't remember what it's called. Oh yeah, 80. 95. You get 95 experience for a completely new unit. Wait, I thought you get more than that. Barracks Armory, Military Academy, 95. Level 1, level 2, level 3. I don't think it's enough to get level 4. Wait, no. Yeah, no, you can't. No. 10, 25. Yeah, I don't remember the numbers. Shoot. You might be very close to level 4. And if you go autocracy, it won't take long to get that level 4. So, or maybe you do get level 4. I don't remember. Alright, let's continue with the wonders. I mean, it's definitely very nice to have global experience. Now it's more worth it, right? Otherwise, one single city, yeah, not that good. Next one, the Olympic Village. So people argued that it's not that good. So now Olympic Village Grand Stadium plus 2 gold and plus 2 tourism. So if you're wide, you get this. There's definitely incentive because, well, there's more incentive to build stadiums. And that's assuming you go cultural victory. I mean, even if we go tall, I guess it's not bad. Yeah, I don't know. I almost never go for it. because it doesn't feel as strong in my opinion. And then the biggest one, International Space Station. So let's see. So once you get it, plus 200 production city, where it is built when you unlock the new technology scaling with Arrow. That's quite a bit of technology. I mean, if you... So that's... Wait, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think you need satellites. 6, 7. That'll be 1400 production each time you get that, which will help you build your spaceship parts much faster. And now you need, wait, rocketry? Before it was satellites. Now you only need rocketry to be able to propose International Space Station. So now you could get it sooner and use that to get a lot of production. I mean, there's still some wonders you can go for. CN Tower. Wait, what? Oh, Sydney Opera House got moved to satellites. Yeah, I was like, Sydney Opera House was up here. World ideology requires nuclear fission to unlock. Here. As opposed to telecommunication. Speed it up. Because, yeah. That's interesting. I mean, it's fine. Like, it's at a spot where it makes it more competitive. And then rewards for global war games. Now 3 maintenance free. I don't remember how many before. 5? So I think it's fewer. And silver now 25% attack for 30 turns and plus 4 maintenance. Okay, I see. So if you just get bronze, you won't get much. You get silver, you get 7 maintenance free units, and you get 25% bonus for 30 turns. That's for silver. And for gold, you get plus 5 happiness, another 5 maintenance free units, and 1 great general. I don't know, how much is it worth, the maintenance free? It still feels weak for me. 25% isn't that much. It's only 30 turns. And it's not exactly easy to plan your wars around that. The maintenance free... I mean, you might have some gold issues. But usually I find at that point, if I'm expanding a lot, trying to win domination victory, I just need to annex one of my puppets and my gold problems will be solved for a while. So I don't know. It still doesn't feel very strong. If it has more happiness, I would take it. But 5 happiness, 1 great general. Yeah, I find that a bit questionable. I mean, what is it called? Yeah, I actually don't remember what it's called. Like when you complete that. Oracle